So so that's put a doubt in definitely in my mind. I'm like, this guy's playing us.
Yeah.
And so and then we've got a client that gave us a job 8 weeks ago.
Still
He submitted 5 candidates.
I actually had a candidate call me, and then I called him back. He was in a meeting, sent me an email and said the job, he flagged the job on their website. He got a notification to say that it's been filled.
Yeah.
On when was that? Tuesday?
That must have been Monday
or Tuesday, and we're Friday now. So a week ago, supposedly it was filled, but our 5 candidates who we've submitted are still in limbo, and they have been for over a month.
Yeah. And then the other client is just not coming back to us about 2 really good candidates and a job that they are struggling.
They've probably had it for, I would say, like 6 months easy.
Yeah.
On and off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just that space now, Gnomes, where it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
And
dragging our feet through the week.
And what else do we do? Like, you can ask and you can explain. I've said to the clients, listen, to help us manage the candidate's expectation, we can make excuses in terms of, okay, they haven't got the feedback yet, and we can try and manage that. But at some point, it becomes ridiculous if you have no feedback, if nobody comes to you.
Tarnishes their name as well.
Yeah. So, yes, we're representing a client in the market. So now candidates are going, oh, I'm not so sure if I want to apply to them again because that client treated me bad. So it's
weird. It's so weird.
Space. And I want to say, part of recruitment. It is.
But not not all of our clients all at once. Like every single client at the moment is basically in that same position. I also spoke to another candidate and another really big corporation who we're dealing with and who he's dealing with at the moment. So he applied for both roles through another agency, exactly the same scenario. It's been over a month, or maybe not over a month for his second application, but the same situation is happening in that second big corporation as well. So he actually called me. He was so confused. He was like, Tayla, I'm going crazy. Like, did we not have this conversation last week? And I'm like, yeah, we did. And he's like, I literally had the conversation with another agency like a couple of days ago, and I was racking my brain to be like, am I speaking to the same person? And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Like, he was so confused. So it's like, what the hell is happening?
I was just going to say, so have you been on any webinars or anything? What's happening?
They've really quietened down as well.
I think clients, I spoke with one of our big clients on Monday, and she said to me that they are being extra cautious when hiring candidates. And we've known this, this market has definitely become more an employer's market, where the last few years it's been a candidate market. They're crossing their T's, dotting their I's, crossing them again, dotting them again. So they're making 100% sure that this candidate is the right candidate. So, and in that process, that process might take 3 weeks. And in that time, the candidate is obviously looking for another opportunity. So they're active in the market. So then it just becomes really complicated, because they then get exposed to another company and another job, and a candidate should explore the opportunities that are available. But from a candidate perspective, from a client perspective, if you've got the right candidate and they tick the boxes, move forward. We've said to this one client now, let's start checking references, so at least we can move the process forward and not wait until we've got
candidate
all the documentation of all the candidates and then make a decision. If there's somebody that you really like, start moving on them. So that would say to me that we're creating an environment where, yes, it is a more client-driven market, but at the end of the day, if you lose the candidate after you've done all that work, like, I don't know, it's disillusioning for all parties involved, because with this one process, we might find ourselves next week with no candidates after we had 2 perfect candidates, because the process took longer than it should have.
Yeah.
And boxes are ticked and boxes are pre-ticked and ticked again. So then candidates get other opportunities and they move.
Yeah, other
There's no
companies.
guarantee that they're going to get the job that we're working on for them. Like you can tell candidates that clients are moving forward and give them the feedback that you're getting from the client. But ultimately, if there's no offer and no paperwork, there's nothing. So yeah, it's just a strange space to sit in. And ultimately, it's our name. It's Monty Group. It's Suki. It's Tayla.
Yeah.
Our name is associated with that process, but the client's name is associated with that process as well. It's part of the branding.
Yeah.
And we take that very seriously because we're presenting the client in the market. So we're authentic, transparent, and give the candidate all the information there is, but ultimately we're also an ambassador for the client in the market to the candidate.
100%.
So that brand gets tarnished as well. And our focus is to not make that happen. But at some stage, if it's been 5 weeks and you haven't got any feedback, then there's nothing more. I don't know what you can do then, other than going, I haven't got any feedback. I don't know. So, yeah, maybe
but
we're not.
Yeah, it's really strange. But we only work with clients who we authentically want to work with. Like we actually want to work with these clients. We believe in what they're doing. We our visions and missions and the way that they do their business and just them as human beings, like we only work with those clients. So that's like where our heart and soul goes into it as well. So when the candidates aren't getting the level of service, I guess you could say, with what they should know, but we're not getting that from the client. So it's hard to hand it over to the candidate. But I understand sitting in that candidate side, it is hard to wait 5 weeks for feedback. It shouldn't happen, but our hands are kind of tied. And it's like we're trying to like put out these little fires and everything like that. And it's hard for us because we believe in the company as well. So that's really sort of demotivating for us just as well as the candidate. And I hate to put my candidates in those hard situations as well, but sometimes it is out of our control.
Yeah. And it's maybe we feel it even more personally because we take it personally.
I know.
Because when we speak to the candidates, we are representing our clients, and we're, like I said, we're a billboard for the client. Why you should work with them, why you should apply for them, what the opportunities are, what the offer is in comparison to other companies that you're talking to. So we're advocates. We're advocates for our clients. And then when that advocacy is sort of taken into question because the follow through doesn't happen from the client side, that's a tough position to be in, a really tough position to be in. So yeah, I just want to say we're not the most up and bright and enthusiastic people at the moment.
No, it is just the ebbs and flows of recruitment and the industry and the market as well. Like we are going into, government side of things, it's slowed right down because of budgets, new financial year, all of that. So that's really slowed down. Contractors are being let go due to budget constraints, but also in that private sector, that is starting to ramp up a little bit as well. But they are sitting in that weird space, like not everything's just taking a little bit longer than what it typically should. So Yeah.
And we are definitely experiencing that there's a stronger focus for clients to work with their internal HR team, their internal recruitment team. So maybe a tip for any candidates out there is have a look at companies, see what they're advertising, look at LinkedIn, apply for the role with the companies. Make sure you follow up, that you call the company. I know that a lot of ads, I've seen the ads where you don't have a contact name or a contact person or a contact number or anything, which makes it really difficult to follow up. I would still try and follow up somehow, maybe call reception, get a number, who's the contact person, because if you're one of 50, there's nobody speaking for you. It's literally just your document, your resume that has to speak for you. But we've seen that focus, and that's just another trend. It goes there. There's the ebbs and flows of recruitment. So there's definitely a bit more of a focus on the internal. Go internal first when you've got a job from a client. The client will go internal first, or will go internal and agency, but would prefer, obviously from a financial perspective, to find a suitable candidate through the internal process. So from a candidate perspective, I would advise to make sure that you cover both angles, not just agency, but apply directly as well.
And that's only really become quite prominent, I would say, in the last week for us.
Yeah, for us,
after having conversations just between us and also what we're seeing on LinkedIn and Seek and clients not getting back to us, that's really only come to fruition within the last week.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would probably be the big advice for this week is if you're a candidate, the market's definitely swung into that internal recruitment space. Make sure that you put your applications into agencies and apply directly to companies as well. There is a possibility that an agency might have the same role that the company has. Unfortunately, in that position, that I would probably think that the client would go internal first.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, just being open and honest with your agency too, just be like, hey, like I've actually applied for this role internally, because that just says to us, no worries. Because it looks bad on you as a candidate as well as us as an agency if we're representing you again, even though you've already applied directly. It kind of just says, well, do they actually know what they're applying for?
Yeah. And so what we do as well, Tayla, that I think is not common with a lot of agencies, if we do know that you as Canada has applied directly for this position with a client, we would happily pick up the phone and tell the client, we know this candidate, she's a really strong candidate. Just wanted to earmark that for you. I've done that so many times. That like we want to help. Like in any way possible. It's frustrating that a great candidate applied internally for a job, but ultimately, if we can help you secure that role, we'll do that.
We want the best for you as a candidate and also our clients.
Absolutely.
Because if they have, like you said, 50 applications, and if we can earmark one that we've already pre-screened that we know is good for this role, that just kind of sets you apart for the other ones.
Correct.
But I also just want to touch back in what you were saying as well, finding the hiring, try to get in contact with them after you do apply for them. Even just on LinkedIn, trying to find who's in that internal HR team, like going to the actual company, and then you can actually find out who's employed by them. Going in there and having a look around, see who's there, whether it's the technical manager or whether it's a HR representative or the HR manager. Just find out sort of who's in that team, who you think might be the hiring manager, and reach out to them. And all you can say or the worst that they can say is, sorry, I'm not like
the person.
I'm not the right person. And then you could say, could you lead me into the right person? And that's also getting those hiring managers to know your name. And then if you do connect with them, if you are quite heavy on LinkedIn and you do post things, and you'll be on their mind as well if something does become available in the near future that may be more suited to you or that they're directly hiring for.
Yeah.
So that's another piece of advice, to use your LinkedIn network to your advantage.
Correct. And this, the focus on the internal side is probably more, not probably, it is more permanent role focused.
Yeah.
Not so much the contracting. Contracting is still being outsourced to agencies, but definitely on the permanent side, we've seen a contraction into companies working more with their internal teams.
Yeah.
So if there's questions, if we can help with anything, by all means, reach out. As always, that's where we sit. We're frustrated because we want to give the best service possible, and sometimes our hands are tied behind our back, and we just can't.
Yeah. And we pride ourselves on the service that we do give as well. So it's a little hard, but thank God our candidates are so lovely. They understand it, they get it. So that's a flip side as well, is working with good candidates as well, who we gel with, we vibe with our candidates. So
yes, correct.
Yeah. It's a timely reminder that what you do and what you say and how you treat people has an impact.
Yeah,
and
correct.
No matter what we're going through, just remember it. Yeah, it
absolutely.
Impact either way.
And if we have information, we can provide advice or we can provide direction. But if we're not told, like if you're applying to 7 other agencies or 7 different companies, and we've got one company that you're working with, and there's other stuff happening with other companies, like just say I've applied, because obviously we know you're active in the market. Of course you're applying for other positions. Of course you want the best opportunity in the market at the moment. But if we don't know, we're not able to give that information through to the client to try and make the process happen quicker.
Yeah, if we need to push timelines forward, we will absolutely do that.
It's that transparency.
Exactly. And I always say to my candidates as well, it's better for you to have more options than none. And then that way you can really suss out exactly what is going to best fit you, so you can have them all lined up, work out exactly what's going to be best for you. I always like to tell them, like, think long term, not just short term as well. So think long term opportunities, growth, all of that. Making the right decision for you at the time, but also long term as well.
And if you are interviewing other places and you can't do what you said you would do, don't say you're sick. Don't say I've been bedridden for 3 days, and then 2 days later we hear that you've got an offer from another company. Just say, hey, I've interviewed.
Yeah. It went well.
It went really well. I'm expecting to have an offer. Great. Awesome. That means that we need to let our client know, hey, this candidate, we told you that they're actively looking in the market. They have found an opportunity. There is an offer on the table. Can you move your process forward so that we can give the candidate an option to maybe have 2 roles to choose from? So, just it's like, be honest.
Just be transparent.
Be transparent, and we'll try and
do not care if you have another offer. Of course, we would like you to take ours, but no.
But ultimately, the candidate decides where to go and who they work with. And if you can have options,
it's so much better for you.
Great.
Having those multiple opportunities.
Correct.
I may have to resurface that video that I did, all about multiple offers and how to go around it.
Yes, I think that's a timely reminder now.
Yeah, that'll be on LinkedIn, Tayla Allen.
That's it. Put that out again there so we can recycle that one.
Yeah, that one.
Because it's valuable information.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
timeless.